Uganda's debt portfolio has attracted concern from within outside responsible authorities. For the Minister of Finance, implementing freeze on borrowing with public debt currently at 88.9 trillion shillings mark is bound to loosen the debt crisis. The permanent secretary from the Minister of Finance, Rabadhani Gobi, confirms that government is on course to fiscal consolidation, an extra window for budget financing.
Those are the three major things we are committed to. And that's what we call a fiscal consolidation, working on those three things. So I wanted to inform you that, Honorable, that as government, we are not going to spend money that we don't have. Whenever there are needs for us to scale down on expenditure, we are going to do that. This first quarter, we have released cash of about 4.8 trillion. We should have released about 7. To have released the 4.8 trillion.
Evidence suggests that fiscal consolidation occurs when government finances are in bad shape, threatening fiscal sustainability. Uganda's debt has risen almost 8 times, from about $3 billion at the end of 2008-2009 financial year to $23.7 billion by the end of June 2023. Besides, corruption still persists, thus the need to promote responsible borrowing, transparency, accountability and good governance.
If you are to borrow and invest efficiently, smartly, we can call it. Don't just borrow to do any project that becomes an idea in somebody's head. Do the assessment, study the idea, make it a bankable project, then do the investment.
These opportunities, if you look at countries like, especially the East Asian countries, they also depended on money from other people, borrowed money. Some borrowed externally, others borrowed like Singapore internally, using social security sources. But the difference is these countries' regulatory framework was very, very strong.
The Finance Ministry confirms scaling down domestic borrowing, a reduction of public expenditures such as broad travel and workshops, among other fiscal consolidation approaches. However, researchers have cautioned government about the dire consequences of the move on economic progress.
Government has cut travel abroad. Now travel abroad is for only statutory. Those people who are entitled by law to travel abroad. I had nothing much to do with those ones. They are our bosses. And they are not the main travelers. The main travelers are elsewhere. We have reduced that. At one point in time, a few years ago, about 2 years ago, government was spending 241 billion to travel abroad. We have cut that.
So it must be done carefully, in a very measured way. I agree with fiscal consolidation, but we must be careful that it doesn't hurt growth. It doesn't hurt growth because we need to get on a growth path to be able to raise enough revenue to pay back our debt. Okay. So it's a trade-off. You must be careful, don't overdo it. But I think the PSST is on the right path and is going to do it the right way.
According to a report by the Minister of Finance, exit debt stock increased from $12.39 billion to $12.82 billion between June 2021 and June 2022, while domestic debt also increased from $7.16 billion to $8.16 billion over the same period. Pedson Mumbere, Smart24 TV, Business Today.